Well, we should get back to the upper floor. Everyone else is probably already finished, so I bet they're waiting for us. I didn't really wait for Clover's response, though. Oh, hello, 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 my friends. Scotty J here, back again with another episode of Virtue's Last Reward. Now, last time, we went into the laboratory with Dio and Clover, and after a not as horrible as I remember escape room, we found the safe, and in it, some Axelavir, and a journal. Most importantly, we found the Axelavir. However, Dio asked to see the Axelavir, and when Sigma pulled it out, Dio stole the Vial from us, saying that if we did not vote ally in the next AB game, he was going to crush the Vial, dooming Quark to die. Sigma has agreed to pick ally, and we'll kind of see what happens from here. Anywho, back to the warehouse. I assume Dio's gonna open the gate any second now. There it is, like clockwork. An Ambidex gate has been opened. 45 minutes remain until Ambidex game polling closes. Oh, sorry. I went ahead and cracked it open a little bit early. Dio. One of his hands was a moon key. He twirled it around like a veteran gambler, grinned and slid it back into his pocket. You don't mind, right? I figured you and Clover would get up here right away. Besides, I thought it best to get this done soon, before you lose your nerve. I don't know about you, but man, I'm really looking forward to this next round. Glanced around the warehouse. Alice and Kay were back. As was Phi. And, of course, Clover. Where's Temiyoji and the rest of them? They're in the infirmary. We carried Quark to one of the beds. Temiyoji and Luna are looking after him. I see. How's he doing? Well, it's hard to say. He seems to be sleeping soundly, but beyond that, there's really no way to know. No change then, huh? Right. So, what was your room, Sigma? Laboratory. Is that so? Did it look like the kind of place where they'd be researching viruses and DNA and those sorts of things? Yeah, it did. Was there any of that Axelavir? Don't tell those other idiots you found some Axelavir in here. I hear one word about it, and the next thing you hear will be little bits of glass shattered on the floor. My eyes flicked to Dio for a moment. No, nothing. Beside me, Clover bit her lip. I see. So, how'd it go with you? Find anything interesting? I only shook her head. With a unison of movement that looked almost choreographed, Alice and Kay also shrugged. Well, where does that leave us? We've still got about 40 minutes left until voting ends. Well, what are you gonna do? I'm a little curious about the lab you found. I thought I might go take a peek at it. I'll show you the way then. Oh, that would be wonderful. I think I'll go have a look around the room Alice, Kay, and Temiyoji found. Never know. Maybe you missed something. Perhaps there's even some Axelavir hidden within there. What a bastard. Then I'll take you there. What about you two? Where are you going? Well, I think I'll start by heading over to the infirmary and see how Quark's doing. Then I will too. Glad that's settled. She nodded to Clover, and they disappeared through the magenta door. Dio and Kay followed a few footsteps behind. Okay then. Guess we should get going too. Hold on. Show me that journal first. Huh? Dio told me about it. He wouldn't tell me anything about the lab except for you found this journal with, his words, some sort of bullshit language. He said you had it, so I was hoping I could take a look. Yeah. One sec. Took the journal out of my pocket and handed it to Phi. She began flipping through the pages, her eyes quickly scanning each one. This is Latin. Latin? You mean you can read it? Yeah, with time in a dictionary. So in other words, no. Pardon me for not being able to translate a dead language on the fly. looks like some kind of research log. It's not gonna be some sort of, I took a dog for a walk today. It was nice kind of stuff. I can understand a little bit of it, mostly conjunctions and things like that. But most of these words I've never even seen before. Vi started to leaf through the book again as she spoke. And suddenly, she stopped. Wait. I can read this one. Page 216. This isn't research notes. It looks like a personal entry. What's it say? Don't rush me. This is gonna take a minute. Interesting. Alright, I think I got it. It looks like they're talking about Radical 6. Whoa, wait. Why'd they talk about that? Not sure. Let me read it to you. Keep in mind that I'm paraphrasing. When the body is infected with Radical 6, the processing speed of the brain is reduced. If we assume the brain currently operates at a 1-to-1 basis with regards to time, Radical 6 reduces this to a 1 to the square root of 1/6, or approximately 1 to 0.408. This means that for every second that passes outside, the patient feels that only 0.408 seconds have passed inside. Therefore, when 1 second has passed inside, approximately 2.45 seconds, or the square root of 6 seconds, have passed outside. In other words, when 10 seconds pass in the real world, a patient infected with Radical 6 would feel as if only 4 seconds had passed. This is why the virus has been termed Radical 6. Radical is another term for what is known as the root operation, the function inverse of taking a power. In this mathematical sense, it can also be used to refer to something that is extreme or severe. Those infected by Radical 6 eventually develop a powerful urge to commit suicide. The exact cause of this is unclear, and although there is, as of yet, no direct link between suicidal urges and the reduction of mental processing speed, many believe that they are not unrelated. Those infected with Radical 6 perceive the world to be moving at a fever pitch, as if they were a video cassette being fast-forwarded. For instance, although the patient believes that only 10 seconds have passed, in fact, 24.5 seconds have passed. Given this increased speed of input, maintaining the ability to observe and reason would become a Herculean task. One theory holds that the disparity in time perception causes the brain to be flooded with massive amounts of information. Unable to keep up, it begins to fail. Whatever the cause, the infected invariably attempt to take their own lives, which is arguably the most terrifying aspect of this virus. Research suggests that a targeted antiviral could kill, or at least disable Radical 6, but we've been unable to develop one. It seems our best hope now is to harvest antibodies from someone with a natural immunity to the virus. Thus far, however, we've been unable to locate a suitable subject, so I have to continue my efforts to discover an alternate means of treatment. Given my current rate of progress, I predict that I will have a workable treatment within a decade or two. It's my fervent hope that humanity will be able to survive that long. The bodies of those dead from suicide are piled up along the roads leading in and out of town. The entire area reeks with the stench of decay, and the sky is filled with the constant buzzing of flies. At times, their swarms are so thick that when one passes, it feels as if a cloud had gone over the sun. Every day I see more crows and rats everywhere, feeding on the dead. Ironically, the only healthy-looking creatures are the stray cats, who have grown fat on a plentiful rodent diet. Few humans who survived the outbreak have been locked away by the government in underground shelters. I don't know how many were saved, but I fear it's only a handful. Their survival is the only hope that remains for the human race. Oh Lord, please, let their future be a bright one. Whoa, that's a lot of information. Now we know what the virus does to you, though. If you get infected, your brain slows down by the root of 1/6. What's that, about 40%? That isn't the important part. Those infected by Radical 6 develop a powerful urge to commit suicide. Yeah, you're right. I'll explain why Quark, well, he's tried to kill himself. There are two other things in here that worry me. First, the part about how they haven't managed to develop a treatment for it yet. What do you make of that? What am I supposed to make of it? Maybe they just hadn't found one when this journal was written? I mean, what we know, there's a drug called Axelavir that cures it.
Exactly. In the journal, it says it may take 20 years to make something like that.
Hold on a second. I'm getting confused. When was this thing ever written?
December 29th. No year, though.
Well, there's no way it was written this year.
Yeah, probably not. Anyways, moving on. The second concern I have is about the underground shelters it mentions. The newspaper article says something about quarantining people, too. After we read it, we all thought the same thing. What if this was one of those quarantine facilities? But this journal seems to suggest the opposite. Few humans who have survived the outbreak have been locked away by the government in underground shelters.
You're trying to say this place might be one of those underground shelters? Which would mean that we're all supposed to be uninfected. We would have been thrown in here to keep us safe.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to say for sure at this point, but it seems possible.
But Quark's been infected, right?
Then maybe the virus got in somehow.
That would be bad.
Just think about it for a minute. If this is one of those shelters, a lot of things start to make sense. Maybe we've been here for a long time. Like maybe they put us to sleep somehow. And to sleep for years, even decades. While we were sleeping, the pandemic this newspaper talked about happened. And whoever had this journal made this entry.
And then once the antiviral treatment was finished, they woke us up?
Right. It's all just speculation, but...
Oh, that doesn't quite make sense. I mean, it seems like a pretty plausible scenario, but we were all captured before the pandemic started, right?
Yeah.
And how would they know to put us to sleep for that long? How would they have known to do that? But most importantly, why the hell are we playing the notary game if the point of this place is to save us? Throwing a bunch of people into a game that might kill them is a pretty weird way to protect them from a pandemic.
Yeah, you're right.
See?
We don't have enough information to make any real conclusions. I think we should see if we can find anything else.
Fi had barely finished speaking before she took off for the magenta door. Hey, weren't you coming to the infirmary with me?
I changed my mind. You can tell me about Quark later.
And with that...
Fi.
She was gone. Man, I let out a long, tired sigh and started off towards the infirmary. How's he doing?
He seems to be stable as far as I can tell.
Still sleeping. I see. Mind if I have a look?
Please, go ahead.
Made my way over to the partition, to the side of Quark's bed. The journal the thing Fi had talked about would definitely need to be addressed, but for the moment, the AB game was what I needed to concentrate on. Lives were at stake. Mine and Quark's. Those infected by Radical 6 eventually develop a powerful urge to commit suicide. The journal was telling the truth. And as soon as the anesthetic wore off, Quark would go insane. What if we weren't able to restrain him for a second time? What if he managed to kill himself before we got to him? Or perhaps he'd just get out of the infirmary and go hide somewhere. On the other hand, it wasn't like we could keep him on anesthetic forever. There was only one way to save Quark, and that was with the Axelavir. Unfortunately, Dio had stolen it. When to get it back, Wilbur and I would have to vote ally. But if I did, there was an excellent chance I would end up dead. The question was, then, what to do? Sacrifice myself to save Quark? Or keep quiet about the danger he was in to save myself? It was so faint, I almost didn't hear it.
Grandpa? Grandpa?
He shifted a little and fell silent again. It was enough, though. What on earth had I been thinking? How could I have even considered letting a child die in my place? Suddenly my cheeks felt hot with embarrassment and disgust. That I had considered letting Quark die, even for a minute, was pathetic. There was only one choice. There only had ever been one choice. No way was I going to let Quark die. My hands tightened into fists as I looked down at him. Any uncertainty I felt before then was gone, and I knew what I had to do.
"10 minutes remain until Amidek's game polling closes. All players, please enter your votes. If a non-vote is recorded before the deadline is passed, any non-voting parties will automatically ally.
Looks like it's almost time. You two should head back. What about you? I'm not going. I'm worried about Quark.
But you're a solo. If you don't vote,
I'll automatically ally. I know. I heard the voice in the intercom just like you. What are you gonna do if Kay and Alice choose to betray? Nothing, I suppose. Just means I lost that round. I'd just be voting ally anyway. You know how my opponents are, right? Alice only has one BP left. If I pick betray and they choose ally, I'd kill her. I'm not so desperate to escape that I'm gonna kill someone for it. Even if I was, I can't leave Quark behind. You see, it doesn't matter if I go to the AB room or not. My vote's the same either way.
Miyoji's mind was made up. Trying to persuade him to leave would have been pointless.
All right. Take care of Quark. Of course. You worry about yourself.
Let's go.
Okay.
Luna and I headed out of the infirmary, leaving Tenmyoji and Quark behind. We got to the warehouse. We found everyone else waiting for us. Well, not quite everyone. One other person was missing. Hey, where's Dio? Take a look at the doors. They're all closed. We came back in here before. The one on the far right was open. And that would mean that he went in, I guess. Exactly. That bastard. Probably been worried I tried to take the Axelavir from him by force, so he's hidden himself in the AB room. What a coward. Made up my mind to choose ally no matter what, but part of me had still considered trying to jump Dio if he dropped his guard. Now he'd made sure I wouldn't even get a chance to try. Where's Tenmyoji? Oh, Luna explained Tenmyoji's choice. I see. Well, I guess it means I don't have to worry about him picking betray. Right. What will you guys be choosing then? Ally, of course. Because my BP is at 6, I assume. Yes. As long as Tenmyoji votes ally, I can't choose betray. If I do, K's BP will go up to 9. But what if he forces you? Ha 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 ha. You needn't worry. I wouldn't do something so crass. Really? Oh, of course. Then you don't need to go in there. Excuse me? Alice can vote by herself. Then we don't need to worry about anything, right? Well, I apologize, but I'm afraid I can't agree to that. Why not? I just can't. Shall we go, Alice? Hey, hold on a minute there. Kate continued briskly towards the AB room, as if he simply hadn't heard Phi. Alice scrambled to follow him, perhaps concerned that she would get locked out. Yeah, Kay's totally picking betray, that son of a bitch. Only seconds later, they disappeared into the third room from the left. I hope Alice is going to be okay. Well, there's nothing we can do about it now. If Kay told the truth, she'll be fine. 5 minutes remain until Ambidex game polling closes. Time's almost up. Come on, Luna. Right. They headed off at a trot towards the second room from the right, and were soon out of sight inside it. All right, Clover. Time for us to go, too. Okay. Right behind you. I sighed to myself and headed towards the leftmost AB room. Woo! Ambidex game. What are you gonna do? I don't really have a choice, do I? There's only one thing I can do. I'm going to choose ally. You can't! You'll die! Well, you never know. Just because Dio told us to ally doesn't mean he's necessarily going to pick betray. Do you really think a jerk like that's going to choose ally if he doesn't have to? No. No way. He's got 6 BP right now. If he picks betray, he'll have 9 points. Well, what about you? Huh? You got 6 BP too, right? If Dio chooses ally and we choose betray, then you'd have 9 points. What? No, that's... I didn't even realize that until you brought it up. I'm just trying to tell you that Dio's going to pick betray. That's just who he is.
I'm trying to tell you that I've made up my mind. That's who I am. The only choice is ally. It's the only thing we can do to get that medicine back.
That's why Dio called you an IG. What makes you think he's gonna give you the Axelavir even if you do what he says?
Maybe he won't, but I can guarantee you that he'll destroy it if I pick Betray. That's who he is.
Fine. If you aren't gonna listen to me, then I guess I don't have a choice. I'll be pushing that button.
Well, before I realized what was going on, Clover ducked past me and ran for the voting machine. No! Hey, stop! I snatched her by the arm and hauled backwards with all my strength. Ow! I'm sorry. Guess that was a bit too hard, huh?
Hey! What do you think you're doing? You can't just throw a girl around like that.
You're the one who tried to trick me.
But you're going to die! Dio's going to kill you! You can't do this! I don't want you to die. 10 seconds remain until Amidek's game polling closes.
Thanks. Means a lot to hear you say that, Clover. I gave her my best reassuring nod and turned to face the polling machine.
3, 2, 1, 0.
Vote has been recorded. Please wait.
Round 2 of the Ambidex game has been completed. Results will be displayed in the warehouse. Thank you for your participation. Ambidex gates now opening.
Clover and I stepped out of the AB room. For several long moments, we just stared at one another. Words weren't necessary. Everything she would have tried to tell me, I could already see in her eyes. Let's go. I turned ahead towards the results screen.
Sigma?
Heard her behind me, her voice barely louder than a whisper. Choice is already made. I stood up straight and kept walking. Yep. Alright. That's 9 points for K, 9 points for Dio, and -1 for Sigma. So then we should have...
Results from round 2 of the Ambidex game will now be displayed. Please check your bracelet to see your updated bracelet points. What?
Sigma's BP is...
negative.
Suddenly, all eyes were on me. I felt their weight, but stood my ground. It was the result I had expected. I took a deep breath and I closed my eyes. I didn't have to wait long. There was a sharp, quick pain in my wrist, barely even noticeable. I couldn't feel anything flowing into my veins, but I knew it was there. First would be the anesthetic, Soparil. I blinked and my vision started to blur. When I tried to think, I felt like my mind had been stuffed with cotton. My legs began to wobble and I gave out entirely as I crumpled to the floor.
Sigma! Sigma? Hang on! Hey! Sigma! Get up!
Sigma.
Oh no. Oh no, no, no.
Trying to open my eyelids was like trying to lift sheets of lead. My eyes had lost the ability to focus, but I could make out a blur that had been Dio in front of the number 9 door. Damn it! You! Keep your promise, you! God damn it! I groaned with a Herculean effort, lifted my head, and then my sluggish body off the floor. Every step was a battle, and whenever I shifted my weight, my muscles threatened to give out again. But somehow I forced myself ahead, a single thought burning into my mind. I would reach Dio. And at last... A smudge of color faded into a recognizable person. I threw up my hand in front of him. Give it back. Give me the medicine. Give it back. Don't act like it's yours. Aren't we supposed to share everything we find here? Don't care. Just hand me the medicine.
What are you talking about?
We found the Axelavir in the laboratory.
And Dio stole it.
What?
You mean he has it? Right now?
Yeah, so? I kept my promise. Now you. I wasn't a fool. I knew the kind of person Dio was. There was a chance he wouldn't give back the Axelavir. If he didn't, then I'd die with my hands around his throat. I gathered as much of my mind as I could and got ready to attack. Huh. Fine. Not quite what I'd actually been expecting. Here. With a shrug, he pulled a vial out of his pocket and tossed it towards me. I caught it and wrapped the tiny glass bottle to my chest, worried I might drop it. The label said unmistakably, Axelavir. It was the real thing. Clover, take it. I held it out towards her. Oh, right, of course. She quickly tucked it into her pocket. Good. Now at least Quark will be all right. With that, the last of my strength left me, and I dropped to my knees. Ah, Sigma, are you okay? Sigma? Sigma? I guess this is it. First is the Sopril, which will put you to sleep. 9 minutes later, the Torocuricane is injected, numbing your respiratory muscles. I guess you could say it'll really take your breath away. 9 minutes. Once that Sopril was injected, I had 9 minutes until the muscle relaxant followed it. About 4 minutes had already passed, which left me with 5, give or take a little. In 5 minutes, I would be dead. What could I do in 5 minutes? How could I save myself? I gave a raspy, quiet laugh. Even with death staring me in the face, I seemed to be determined to struggle right up until the very end. Okay, Sigma. You can do this. Clinging desperately to what little consciousness I had left, I racked my brain for any possible solutions. How could I save myself? How? There had to be something. Every problem, no matter how difficult, has a solution. There's always another option. Hopelessness is a state of mind. I just had to think. I had to think. If there was some way out, I'll find it. I just wasn't ready to give up on life quite yet. There had to be an answer. Yes, and that is our to be continued. We've hit another lock of the game. Sigma's been injected and has 5 minutes to figure out a way to escape with his mind absolutely foggy. So, yeah, I guess with that we'll call it here for today. Anyway, Scotty just signing off. We'll pick another out next time and see if we can come back here later. Anywho, bye-bye!